All right. So this is the game from Clan League, one of the key games of Clan League between Avalanche and Twin Moons. At the time this is being recorded, the match was tied 1-1, so this is easily could be a decisive game for either team, Avalanche or Twin Moons. On the left, with second turn, we have Delial for Avalanche, and on the right, with first turn, we have Turdz for Twin Moons. This is a hand other Twin Moons players have played pretty successfully, so clearly Twin Moons has worked together as a clan to come up with some hand ideas. Delial's hand was actually made by Piggyman, so our clan also had some working together for ideas on this set. I thought this was a really cool game, and I didn't record live, but I did get to watch some of it, and well, hopefully you'll take my word that I had certain predictions, because I had certain predictions that came good, and I'm proud of myself on those. So Turd started here, and I think one of the issues, maybe it's not actually the exact same as hand other Twin Moons players have used, but one potential issue with this hand is it does have these two redundant corners, and it makes sense to get one of them out of the way immediately. On the other hand, it does feel like 4775 can potentially be a kind of dead card here. And one of the questions is going to be, can Turdz find a way to use that 4775 effectively, or will it be a dead card? Now, this starter poses some problems for Deli's hand. He has limited ways to capture it. This potentially can get comboed back. This is just pretty easy to recapture without walking into anything. The 7628 can recapture both ways. It seems like a plausible starter. It's not that Delial's hand has that much trouble taking it. Delial's hand will have access. I don't think it creates pretty significant problems, but it's a starter that can be recaptured, gets one of the redundant cards out of the hand, and, seems reasonable. The AI says very low pressure. It says Deli should be looking for a way to get some initiative here. And I quite liked Deli's choice because I love capturing things. Deli goes for the capture. And here, Deli has put on good pressure. Just jumping to the solver again for a moment. 68% of Turds' moves here lose on the spot. To perfect play, of course. That doesn't mean they will lose in practice. And 32% hold a tie. And I was looking at this, and I was thinking about how Turdz plays, and I was thinking, okay, so what do we want to do? Obviously, we'd love to recapture the card. What's Deli's point here? Because this is the obvious move to make. Has Deli set up some combo in 5? No, not really. And Deli's presumably, you can do something and say, you don't have to recapture because I have the plus. But, this kind of position, if you play something like here, I just don't, you never lose this, right? Make sure this isn't actually a loss. This is a winning position. Yeah, so you're never losing this, right? You have the combo in 7, you have 5597 for 3 and 6. I wasn't sure this was a win, but I was just thinking you can't possibly lose after this, and this is in fact a winning move. So the idea can't be something like 5. What's Deli's idea? Is it something probably in 3, or is it in 7? And after some thought, I thought the idea was probably 7. With the point that Turdz can't really attack immediately, so Turdz doesn't have an immediate way to attack something here. But then I thought, this is safe in 3 for Turdz, and even though Deli has a capture in 5, just on a general awareness of these types of structures, you have the safe card in 3, you have the locked-in card in 1, this is just, unless the cards line up really badly, you're very unlikely to lose this. So I thought this was a tying line, and the solver does indeed confirm this is a tie. But I also thought, thinking about Turdz' style, that he tends not to walk into positions that look dangerous. He tends to complicate rather than accept kind of technical deficiencies. And this kind of L, where Deli essentially has 2 safe cards to Turdz' 1, and where Turdz is going to have the card on board that's vulnerable after a move like this, I think Turdz tends to write these positions off a little. He doesn't have the threat in 5. He likes them more from some other move orders, actually. But I sort of had this inkling Turdz isn't going to go for this. And this is certainly not the only tying line. Also, this move, obviously, Delial has quite nicely covered. It turns out you can survive this position too. The long L here is actually okay. This is a tie. You have high enough up value that they have limited attacks, and their only successful attack is so well comboed back. that these two cards end up playing fairly safe. These long L's, they really do tend to be ties unless there is some big combo play at the end of them. Akiyama had a great win in some game I showed in his video in 3 in a structure like this. That happens, but it's pretty rare. I had a feeling those positions were better than they looked, but there's something where you have to calculate and you have to decide, I'm willing to accept something that looks bad. And I think something Turdz does is rather than accept something that looks bad, he will do something active. And he did so here. And I felt good about having made the prediction that he wouldn't do a kind of standard move in 2. He would try to find something more creative and with more initiative to it. You'll notice it sets up pluses for him in both 5 and 7. And it immediately puts the ball back in Deli's court. It does give up a free square in 7. And so what I was thinking here was, okay, just drop a card in 7. What happens? If we put 5, 8, 7, 3, and 7, sure, Turdz has this plus, but we take safety in 9, and we have 3 cards locked in. I think this is just a win, because they have no downs at all. Turdz has no down. I think Deli wins here. You know, something like this just loses to here. Anything here, we have the double capture in 2, and they're never comboing that 1 back. They go 3, they're not capturing 5 from 2, so we just take it and get the win. So I thought just play 5, 8, 7, 3, and 7. I think this is a pretty straightforward win. And at this point, I turned on the solver, which I had not done before. I turned on the solver because I was curious. I wanted to know, does 5, 8, 7, 3 win? And it said, no, this is a tie. I said, okay. All right. And at that point, Deli played this move here. And I went, okay, is this a win? And it said yes. So I want to say really awesome instincts from Deli here, because I kind of had gravitated to the lower level card, and Deli was willing to use the higher level card that had less directional power that would matter in the game. And I think this was a really good, I don't know the exact reasoning he did it, but a really good intuitive read, because one of these moves work and the other doesn't. But why? I couldn't figure it out, because I thought, shouldn't they work out the same? You know, in this variation, this is still a win. What's the key lines against other moves? And it turns out there is one idea that ties against this, but does not tie against this. Now, one of the first lines I looked at was this move, which I think is pretty interesting. And there's a bunch of lines here. But if you go for kind of just grabbing things, it's a little worrisome to have given up this potential combo, and Turdz can survive here, where he is either 3 or 6. I think that's the only save there, yeah. So Turdz can survive like that. And similarly, against kind of other moves in 5, now we have to, now I think we take this way, and we're safe, and A944, because it has a flip in 4, now is guaranteed a capture on the last turn. So we just about, this looked to me for a bit like it might tie, but there's this really strong idea, 5188 here, setting up 8278 to have a deadly plus in 5, so Turdz kind of has to block that plus. And when he does so, he must flip 6 or not be able to flip 4. If he doesn't flip 4, you know, it's easy for Deli to win. And if he does flip 4, he is walking into a significant combo after this, right? Because 7 plus 5 equals 2 plus 10. So we got the plus wall here. So really interesting win in 6. This would have been quite hard to find, but 7, 6, 2, 8 did not tie against either move. Against both moves, 7, 6, 2, 8 loses. And the next idea I thought was interesting, was it here? No, it was here. It was here. Was another one where I thought it was really tricky to find Delial's idea. For instance, if he takes this safe square, Turdz has the captures. Critically, right, the problem with going here immediately was Deli goes in 9 after. If Turdz can get Deli to go in 9 first, then there's not a good reply to this, and Turdz is in good shape and gets his tie. And if Deli goes in 5 first, you know, something like here, then Turdz just takes 9, and 5-5-9-7 proves a good sweeper with A9-4-4 never being flipped. So this seemed like a good idea, but there's 5-1-8-8 and 3, which is safe and just enough to pull out the win. And just, there's no captures here, so this just falls too far behind because you're down 7-3. This is 6-4, but suddenly 5-5-9-7 is a dead card in the last square. Anything where you occupy 5 immediately, I just double capture back and you have no captures on the last turn. If you start in 9, I think I can go this way and you only have the single capture to lose. So this didn't work either, but again, there was only one win. So I started going back and going, okay, so what's the tie against this? And why doesn't it work against this? And the tie against this is the just very difficult to find A9-4-4 in 3. And we'll get to some of the differences in a sec, but Deli plays this move and Turdz thinks for a while, and we're like, okay, this doesn't work. There's this idea that doesn't quite work, this idea. Turdz finds this move, which is an incredible move to find, and we'll find how good it is in a sec, and would have been a saving move against the move I would have played. And I thought the difference didn't matter. I thought if the tying move is this, it doesn't matter that my move, allows a tie and Deli's move doesn't, because no one's playing A9-4-4 and 3. But Turdz does play A9-4-4 and 3, and so it really does matter that Deli found that critical card in 7, right? One of those intuitive differences where it would have been so hard to calculate the lines, but he gets it right, and just incredible move, and incredible find by Turdz defending here, because this is both a very tricky position for blue to win, and would have tied against a move that looks almost identical to the one played. Incredible defensive try. And the point is, the A9-4-4 has played really badly in Turdz's hand in all these lines, and one of the most testing moves was the one where he gets it out of his hand immediately. It has so little power facing towards the action. Another move to consider is here, but Deli just blocks 5 and wins pretty easily. So he gets it out of his hand, and he does so not blocking any squares he has combo play in. And the first thing we notice is Deli can't really go 2. If he goes 2 with an 8 down, he sets up 8 plus 3 equals 7 plus 6. 8 plus 5 equals 7 plus 6. Gets devastated this way. Not necessarily losing. We can't take that combo immediately. That is a good point because it is comboed back with the 8 plus 4 equals 2 plus 10 and actually wins. Turdz has to hold on to that card, so I think the play is here. And you'll notice there's combos everywhere. This can't go here because 4 plus 5 equals 2 plus 7. This can't go here because of the plus wall. There's combos everywhere for Turdz, right? And he's getting at least a tie here. Really clever idea. And if Deli goes here with a 7 down, both his other cards have 7s down. Turdz now has the plus and 5 again, different plus, but another one. And because it flips 4, it flips 1, and Turdz is in good shape. And again, we have to do it precisely because this way doesn't work. We have to leave it open for a turn, but I think actually we do it this way again here. No, we don't. Then you have that. What's our exact way to do it? Because if we go immediately, we lose to this. Oh, we just do it with this card. Yeah, we just do it this way, and now the 8 plus 4 doesn't combo extra cards, and we get it this way. So has really great combo coverage of 2 with complicated replies in 9. Against any move in 5, there's not really too much to do there. They moves with a 5 up give up the combo in 2 because 7 plus 7 equals 9 plus 5. So the only really appealing way is to block with this card, but then Turdz has this plus, and Delial can capture 2 things back, but you only get a tie there. So there's not really the squares you kind of want to block as the second turn player here are 2 and 5, and neither of them work. And so you start looking, okay, can I go something like 9? And I think we get the same problem of this 5-5-9-7 ends up being a fantastic sweeper. And is going to get Turdz at least the tie. And so really hard to find the idea. But this also brings up the question, what was that difference between 9927 and 7 versus 5873, where Deli found the correct card to put in 7 and I had the wrong idea? What's the critical difference? How does this come up? Where's the point where this made a difference? And so before I get into that, I just want to reiterate, I think Deli made a really good reply to the starter. Turdz went for complications, as is what he likes to do in difficult looking positions. I think made a big mistake. Deli made a perfect move, and Turdz found by far the most complicated play that would have tied if Deli hadn't made the perfect move. So where's Deli's win? And the winning move is 5, 8, 7, 3, and 6. And I think the first thing we want to do is we want to look at what if Deli had made the wrong move? Would 9, 9, 2, 7, and 6 work? And the answer is no. Because I believe Turdz would play here. Deli cannot recapture 9, 9, 2, 7, and 6 from 5, so he can only capture one thing on his last turn, and we're going to get a tie. What's the difference with 5, 8, 7, 3? Well, 5, 8, 7, 3 is actually safe to 9. Turdz doesn't have a capture in 9, so he can only capture one thing, so it doesn't matter that Deli has no right power. He can put out the little right power he has, and he wins 6-4. And so 5, 8, 7, 3 is this brilliant move. Interestingly, I also, when the solver told me this, I was blanking, like, what's the win against this? And the win against this is just to double capture. But I was miscounting and getting it wrong. So even like being told the move, it took me, a little while to see all the lines. And especially when you're playing a game and there's a bunch of moves to consider here, and you really got to check all the lines in 2. And it's so easy to check them here where I can make the moves, I can have the solver tell me you got it right. And it's so easy in a game to calculate a line, get something wrong about it because you're doing a quick calculation because you have limited time, you're doing a quick check, discount the line and never return to it, and just never spot that you actually made a slight miscalculation. Real calculation is, of course, much tougher than this pause stuff. So I think this is a really easy move to miss, and Delial, in fact, does end up missing it, and Turdz finds the tie, and they play out a tie. So there was a missed win here, and there was a losing mistake, but I don't think that means this wasn't a brilliant game. I thought it was a fascinating game. I think it showed kind of... I've been fairly open about this. I think one of the biggest weaknesses in Turd's play is he will play unconventionally when conventional moves work, and he will go for dynamics when he doesn't need to. This also gets him some wins that he would not have won playing conventionally, but I think puts him in some difficult situations. And he did say, when I said, can I do a video on this? He did say, you're going to be mean about my move in 8. And I am indeed going to be mean about that move in 8. On the other hand, in a very difficult position on the next turn, he found this brilliant move in 3 that happens not to save the game against perfect play, but would save the game against perfect play in this position, is a brilliant try. And in practice, even someone as good as Delial didn't beat this move. Just unbelievably good move. Understanding which cards needed to be held on to, finding these complicated variations, meeting 2 and 9, and having to do that, figuring that out while you're looking for a move is so difficult, because he also had to check 2, he has to check 5, he has to check 6, he has to check 9. 3 is maybe the last square you get to, but he saw the card he needed out of his hand, he saw these combo synergies, that he still has this threat in 5, that Deli has no card he can put in 2 and feel comfortable. Even though Turdz sometimes can't attack it immediately, it still works out. Just brilliant find. And I think in the end deserved to get the tie, though Delial's instincts of which card to put in 7 were unbelievable here. Again, it would have been so easy to make this move, which is in fact not winning. And again, I thought it wouldn't matter the difference, because who's playing this move? But the answer is Turdz is playing this move. So if I had been playing Turdz in this game, Turdz would have comfortably held the tie. Not comfortably, but would have brilliantly held the tie against me. Against Deli, it took a later mistake from Deli, but this is a difficult move to find, and just a brilliant defensive play. So I thought this move in 3, brilliant. This move in 7 that Deli played with 9927, brilliant, because it's so hard to differentiate which cards you want to hold on to and which cards you don't. And to do so successfully, picking to use the higher level card early, and the one that maybe had more threats on board. 9927 occasionally could take back there or something. I guess that can never happen, but You know, something with a little left power feels relevant. You know, you have down power in your hand. You know, keeping something with more left power. I guess you also have left power in your hand. But like, I looking at this could not tell the difference between the moves. My instinct was just use the lower level card, and Deli played it perfectly until here, where he couldn't quite get over that finish line. But I think this is an awesome game. I just love this sequence of 7, which I think is brilliant, and 3, which I think is brilliant. Awesome game of Triple Triad, really well played. Obviously, I wish Deli had won as the Avalanche clan leader, but I think they both did special things this game, and if you're not impressed, I think something's wrong with you, because this is a really high level play. And also, one of the things that the solver just telling you that move loses, that move wins, isn't quite going to capture how fantastically good this game was. Because, like, yes, Deli found the only win, but that doesn't tell you that this move looks like almost identical, right? And that Deli picked the right card there, I think, is remarkable. And he never picked up the wrong one either. He just went for this one. And Turdz finding this defensive idea. Magnificent. So that's a just truly special game of Triple Triad. Probably one of the best games of Clan League. Even though there were 2 real mistakes, right? Turdz makes a losing move on move 3. Delial misses a win on move 6. But that doesn't mean this isn't like a top level game of Triple Triad. And it's probably one that both players, when they watch this video, are going to be like, shit, I screwed up, you know? But I think this is just awesomely high level play. And one of the reasons I really enjoy Turdz Delial matches is because they both keep throwing complex, clever ideas at each other. I also want to highlight Deli just taking the starter was a good move. Like, when I'm saying, like, I think I had a pretty comfortable path to a tie, yeah, it's a path to a tie, but it's not a path to anything more than this, you know? It's definitely we hit this position and Delial gets to start looking. Do I have anything that can push for a win? I guess not. I'll play one of the ties. There are 5 ties here. It's not like this is pressure on Deli. So I thought, really nice reply to a starter. Maybe there's better out there, but, you know, I could imagine something like the far corner being better, right? Just curious how many ties there are here. Nope, there are a lot more ties here. This is not. So I think just good move, well played. Just looking again. Is this a good move? This looks pretty strong. Solver thinks this might be a little better. What's the main line here? Presumably block the in-between square. Yeah, and that does tie. And I guess the question is, does Deli have a way to set up a good L? It's probably not a great L, because you're threat in 5. You do have a plus in 5, but you give back a plus in 2, for instance, something like this. Right? So, yeah. I don't know. Not obvious what your path is here. Maybe this is good, actually. So it's a pretty scary plus in 5. Yeah, there's only 1 tie here. And this is not a comfortable move to make. So maybe 9, 9, 2, 7, and 7 would have been a better move. But I think 4 was a really good move. And just a really good game of Triple Triad between 2 good players. Anytime you can catch Turdz and Deli playing, it is worth watching. Because a lot of how I play is when I'm in a kind of bad position, like if I'm hit with this move, I will, I will go for this. And I will try to head towards that sort of boringish tie. Because if I feel behind, I will take a safe route. And when Turdz is behind, his instinct is very different. He will complicate. And it leads to really interesting games. I have to say, move of the game is this one. Excellent move.